You've seen them in the stores, but I'm going to show you how easy and affordable it is to make these cone Christmas trees with a farmhouse feel. Plus, as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, my name's Aneka with Craft, Eat, Repeat, and I have yet another buffalo check project that I'm doing for you guys today. But really you could use any pattern or fabric you like to create these fun farmhouse Christmas trees that I'm going to have decorating my table this Christmas season. I love these because they weren't that difficult to make, they look beautiful, and they're mostly made out of poster board, so if my kids destroy them, it's okay. I can just make another one. So I really hope you guys enjoy it, and of course I've got some fun treats to go along with it. If you're new here, welcome, and if you enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel. After you've watched the video, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and leave a comment. Alright guys, let's get started. Okay, it's time to craft. I'm going to start out with a poster board that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use a marker that I tied some twine around to make a nice curved line for me to follow. Ignore all my gray hair, guys. It's been that color since about high school. So now I'm just going to cut along the arc that I just made with my marker so that I get a nice shape to make my cone. Now with this poster board, you kind of have to work it a little bit, so you'll have to roll it and unroll it, roll it and unroll it, and just kind of train it to make the cone shape, and it'll stay there pretty well if you do that for a few minutes. Now I wasn't able to get my cone to have a perfectly pointed top, but that's okay because I plan to cover it up with a star. Plus there'll be fabric on it if you choose not to use a star, so you won't really be able to see it at all. Once you've got it the shape that you want it, I use some tape to just hold it together because this is a bigger tree that I made and I wasn't able to just hold it with my hands like I was with the smaller trees. Next, I grabbed my fabric and I chose to use this buffalo check, which gave me some nice straight lines to follow. So I cut vertically, keeping 2 rows together, and then I cut horizontally after about 6 rows. And you're gonna need a lot of these guys depending on the size of your tree, so go ahead and cut maybe 50 or so if you have a tree the size of mine. I reinforced the tape with some hot glue, and then I started to glue my fabric pieces together. So you're just going to put a dab of glue right on the top of each one of your pieces of fabric and just fold it right in half. And this was really easy to do, guys, but it did take a while because I decided to make the tallest tree possible out of my poster board. So make sure you have your Christmas movies ready so you can kind of glue and cut and glue and cut, and it'll fly by really quickly. And now it's time to glue all my pieces onto the tree. So I started near the back of the tree and I just kind of eyeballed it to where to start with my fabric to make sure that it covered all the way to the bottom of my poster board. Then I just followed that line all the way around with my fabric pieces. Now, after I did this, I thought that maybe I could have followed some kind of pattern because some of the pieces, they all started with white on one side, on the side that I started on. However, some of them had gray on the top and some of them started with the white on the top. So if that kind of symmetry is really important to you, then you might want to make sure you do a pattern. I did not do a pattern and I think it came out great. I couldn't tell a difference, so just decide what's going to make you happy and go with that. So now it's time to do our second row. Now, unlike what I did here, you need to start in the back again so that just in case there's some kind of weird overlap, it's all in the back and you can just face that part to the wall if you want to. Now, you're going to make sure that the bottom square of your second row piece overlaps the top square of your bottom row piece. This way you can make sure that it's nice and even. Also, you're going to want to start your second row piece right in the middle of 2 bottom row pieces. This is going to create that tiled effect that looks so nice on this tree. So you're going to continue this way row after row until you get to the tip of your tree. Once you get to the tip, you're going to take one piece of fabric and wrap it all the way around the tip. Then you're going to take your last piece of fabric and wrap it around in the opposite direction. Make sure it sticks very well, and that's it. Now I decided I wanted to decorate my trees with these bells that I got from Dollar Tree. So I just took my hot glue and glued the bells in strategic places all over my tree, just to give it a little pop of color and to make it more festive. Once I got all of my ornaments on the tree, I decided to use this red star ornament that I got from Walmart in a pack of 4 to decorate the top. I snipped off the loop that held the ornament on and glued it right to the top, and it came out so beautifully. So here's another take on the same cone tree, and this one is a little more basic, and I love the beautiful simplicity of it. So I cut my cone the same way, and this time I'm going to lay my cone flat on my fabric. Now if your fabric has a right side and a wrong side, you're going to want to remember to put the wrong side up. Make sure you leave a little bit of margin on each side because we're going to glue it over the sides of the poster board to make the edge look nice and finished. Now I put a few dabs on the inside of the fabric. I'm not sure that I needed to do that, but I did and it came out nicely. So if you want that little bit of extra security, then go ahead and do that. Next, I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm just going to fold the edge of the fabric over the poster board. Now, don't do it like I just did it because by the time I got to the end, the glue was already hardened up. So you'll need to put your glue on in little pieces to make sure that it stays nice and hot all the way to the bottom. After you finish the first side, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So once you've completed both sides, you're going to want to take a minute or two and just roll your cone a little bit to make sure as the glue hardens completely that the fabric doesn't get pulled in any kind of weird directions. Those little dots of glue that I put on the inside were pulling a little, so I had to pull the fabric down. I wrapped the cone, I let it go, I wrapped it again, and I just made sure that the fabric laid nicely as I was twisting and pulling. Once you're satisfied with how your fabric is laying, you can go ahead and glue your bottom part of your cone to make that edge look nice and finished. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap my cone around again and hot glue it together. Once your cone is glued together, you can go ahead and decorate it. I wasn't sure what I was going to use at first, so I grabbed some ribbon and I grabbed some of this decoration right here, which I'm not sure what this is called, but it reminds me of a plant that I used in another video that everyone told me was a pussy willow, and it's my new favorite thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I twisted it over twice so that it would be a little more full, and then I just wrapped it all the way around my tree. And I just love the color that it gives this and just the natural vibe that it gives the tree. Even though it's not a natural pattern with the buffalo check, I like that this kind of looks like a vine with berries because that fits right into the decor of my house. I just took my hot glue and made sure to glue it on there nice and secure so that it wouldn't shift or the spiral wouldn't slide down as it sat. Next, I took my star and put it right on top of my tree. And I love how this one came out. I love the clean lines with the vine going around it. I would say it's my favorite, but honestly, I love them all. So now I have one more take on this cone tree that you can make with your buffalo check fabric or whatever fabric you chose. This time I'm going to use one column of fabric and I'm going to cut it 5 squares across. Now, once I've cut it into strips of 5, I'm going to put a drop of hot glue. I'm going to twist one end and put it on the other. And then I'm going to kind of give it a little tug to make sure that it's laying nicely and I have a little loop on the bottom. So I'm going to twist and glue. And I'll show that to you a little bit more slowly so that you can see what I'm doing. I just twist it over, glue it together, and give it a tug so that once it dries, it's laying nicely in a loop. Now with these, they do have different colors because I only did 5. That means the bottom is only half of a row, and then there's a solid color in the middle and a solid color on top. So I wanted to alternate my colors between the white and gray, black and gray, and the variations of which one is on top. So make sure you lay yours out in a pattern, if that makes sense, if that kind of thing is important to you, like I said before. Next, I'm just going to use the same technique where I just start at the bottom, making sure that my loop touches the table so that I get full coverage of my poster board. And I'm just going to follow my pattern all the way around, gluing my loops onto my cone tree. Once I get to the second row, I'm going to cover up the top square of the bottom row with the bottom of my loop. This will help make sure that everything stays nice and even. Once I get to the top of my tree, I'm just going to wrap 3 pieces around the top to form the tip of my tree. Now, depending on how wide you cut your fabric or if you use buffalo check, depending on the size of it, you might only need 2 pieces instead of 3. So feel that out, see what looks good, and do that. Next, I'm going to hot glue my star right on the top of my tree. And for this one, I wasn't sure which decoration I was going to use again, but I decided to use these little berries. So I just cut my pick into small pieces and then I hot glued the berries all throughout the tree. And I really like the way this effect came out, especially with the loops going down on the tree. I think these kind of remind me of icicles, but with berries instead, if that makes sense. And I just like the effect that it has with the texture of the tree. And that's it for that one. All of these three came together so quickly, and I love how they look together. They're all tied together with the buffalo check, but they all have their own unique flavor, and so they look beautiful sitting next to each other. Okay guys, and now it's time to eat. In honor of our super easy cone trees, I'm gonna make some super easy edible Christmas trees out of melted candy. So all you're gonna need is pretzels, green candy melts, and some sprinkles. You're gonna lay your pretzels out on some parchment paper or wax paper. Put your melted candy melts, or you could use white chocolate that you put green food coloring in if you prefer that. And you're just gonna do a zigzag pattern right over the top of your pretzels. So the pretzels are just going to act as your tree trunk. Once you've done a few, you're gonna wanna come back through with your sprinkles and put them right on top. I'm using rainbow sprinkles, but you could use white, or you could make these trees out of white chocolate and use red sprinkles, whatever you want. Just make sure you go through before the chocolate set, so you might need to do the trees in sets of 4 to 5 so that your sprinkles don't bounce right off of your tree, which will happen as the chocolate hardens. Next, I'm going to come through and I had some star sprinkles, so I'm going to put one right on top of each tree. And that's pretty much it. These come together so quickly, they're perfect for parties. I'm gonna put these in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and hard. And they come out like this. These are the perfect little treat for Christmas. I can give one to my kids and they feel like they've got something special, but really they're not much chocolate at all. Next, I'm going to make some fudge trees. So I'm going to grab some more candy melts. I just happen to have some open packages of light and dark green, so I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to add my sweetened condensed milk right on top. And I'm using vanilla extract today, but you can use peppermint. That tastes really good if you're into mint. Now I'm going to put this in the microwave for about a minute, let it sit in the microwave for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to stir it so that I get all the chunks to be nice and smooth, like this. Then I'm going to let my chocolate sit on the counter probably for about 20 minutes or so, and I'm going to stir it every 5 minutes until it is hardened to the point of the consistency of about frosting, like this. Once it's that consistency, I'm going to put it in an icing bag with a star tip, and I'm just going to do a little swirl to create my Christmas tree. I'm going to put my sprinkles on as I go, because if these harden at all, you're going to see the sprinkles just fall right off the tree and they won't stick at all. So make sure you pipe and sprinkle as you go. So you're going to swirl, sprinkle, and put the star on. These are such adorable little Christmas trees, also perfect for parties or the fudge lover in your life if you want to make a gift. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's projects. They were all super easy to make and extremely adorable. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video when we repeat it all again. Thanks for watching.